Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Healing Loudly YouTube channel. My name is Coach Paula, and if you are new to this page, go ahead and click the like and subscribe button so that you can stay alert for any of the new videos that I will be having. So I want to apologize in advance for the lighting. It's a little bit dark over here, but it's been raining a lot, so um, got to get my ring light working. So today I want to talk about the ugly side of healing, the part that we don't really talk about. So many of you who have come to this page are survivors of domestic violence, narcissistic abuse, um, all of the things that encompass domestic violence, such as financial, psychological, physical, verbal, all of that stuff, right? You've experienced that. Maybe you're still going through it, but you are here because you're seeking knowledge on what you've just gone through, what you've been dealing with, and how to come out of it. While healing is extremely important, and we have to heal. If you have a wound and you hurt yourself, you have to wrap it up, you have to clean it, you have to take care of it so that you can heal and move forward. One thing that is important to remember is that healing is not always beautiful, healing is not sexy, and it can be very, very ugly. What do I mean by that? When you're dealing with an abusive parent, sibling, romantic partner, boss, whatever relationship you can think of, oftentimes you'll start to attach yourselves to other people as well. You may start to make friends with someone who you can share what you're going through with, and maybe they've experienced it before. Maybe they're not the greatest of friends, right? But there's someone who will listen to you and talk to you. And you're in such a vulnerable place that oftentimes you look for some love from somewhere, some understanding, some form of friendship, some form of companionship, right? I have learned firsthand to be mindful of the relationships you make when you're healing with an open wound. Okay, I'm gonna say that one more time. Be mindful of the relationships you make when you are healing with an open wound. What this looks like is you make friends while you're maybe in an abusive partnership, relationship, okay? And you notice that this friend of yours always makes underlying digs, no, throws different, different jabs your way. When's the last time you got your hair done? Or, yeah, you're not looking too good. Maybe this is why you're having issues with whatever, right? There's just something that they always say to you where you start to sit and question and say, is this person really my friend? Every time I'm around this person, they just talk about their issues all the time. Or when I start expressing mine, they undermine it. Yeah. Well, at least you have someone at home with you, right? At least your parents are alive. It's just whatever you share is just not quite enough to matter to them. Has anyone ever experienced that before? We call them frenemies. They're kind of a friend of convenience. You met them during this time when you were really going through something and you kind of needed that companionship because as you are going through that abuse, you might have started to isolate yourself, right? Or maybe the abuser isolated you. And when you get to that point of making friends and making connections, oftentimes they're not the healthiest. They're just the first ones that come along. What is important to note is that when you take ownership and you say, I want to heal, I'm going to start coaching, I'm going to start therapy, I'm going to start to exercise and do different things to take care of myself, right? And you start to notice that your mental health is getting back on track. You're becoming aware of what you went through, the psychological abuse, the damage, how it impacted you. All these fancy terms you can probably spew off gaslighting and um, domestic violence and breadcrumbing, all the terms. But as you begin to heal, people will start to fall off, right? That frenemy suddenly becomes more irritating, right? That family member, suddenly you start to realize, wow, they never did respect my boundaries. I've been dealing with this type of behavior, this type of abuse for years from a sister, from a mother, from a dad. When you begin to heal, your eyes begin to open. Literally, your eyes are opening. You're seeing the world from a different state because you're more healed, right? The mental capacity begins to change because you're no longer in the fight or flight mode. You're able to receive information as it is. And you start to realize that some of your relationships around you are actually not healthy, even the non romantic, the non familial relationships. They're just not healthy. They were friends of convenience, maybe. And many people will start to notice that the healthier they get, the lonelier it seems. Because you start looking around and taking inventory and realizing, wow, this person was never my friend. This person is not a, a helpful family member. They just helped to fill in some gaps when I was dealing with my trauma, my abuse, and all the bad things I was dealing with when I mentally could not figure out my left from my right. And now that I'm realizing I left one abuser and just went up under a different one, right? And when you start opening your mind and realizing that some of the relationships you created while you were bleeding were not healthy. And then we begin to get to that difficult decision of setting boundaries, right? And when you start to set boundaries, that's when you really start to figure out if that relationship is healthy or not. I have a saying I always say that boundaries always come off as aggression to people who aren't used to you having them. Always come off as aggression. I've said that in my previous videos. And when you start creating little boundaries here and there, you'll start to notice that people either fall off, right? You may notice that maybe you were the only person calling them first. You're the only person reaching out to them to ask how they're doing. So when you take a step back, the phone is still silent. This is something that I just like to make people aware of, and not a scare thing at all, but acknowledging that if you're getting to that place and you're actually getting to a good place, because the goal is to have as many healthy relationships around you as possible. Dead weight is not necessary. You don't need the dead weight. You don't need the space fillers, right? The seat warmers. You don't need that. And honestly, as you're going on that journey, you want to surround yourself with people who are healthy, who care about you, who value you, and look out for you. Not anyone who's going to pull you back or trigger you or put you back into a space that is unhealthy. So be mindful as you move forward and you become healthier, those new relationships you create are probably created more so on a healthier foundation because you're in a healthier place. But be mindful of those connections that you created, those family members you reconnected with when you were bleeding out, and take inventory of how they make you feel. When people always say, how do I know if this person is good for me or bad for me? I would say take inventory. The body keeps score. If I get a call from you and I'm suddenly anxious, if I'm around you and I feel like I have to walk on eggshells, I feel like I have to answer to you, I feel like I have to explain myself all the time, that's probably a one sided unhealthy relationship. So I wanted to just make a quick video on the kind of ugly side of healing when it comes to relationships and friendships. Now, when you get past that, it's beautiful because you get to the point where you're like, begin to set boundaries. You notice your circle is getting smaller because that's one of the side effects of moving forward and healing and being healthier and putting yourself first, right? So just wanted to give some encouragement that if you're sitting here thinking, why am I losing my friend? Why does it seem like this relationship is not good for me? Why does it seem like this family member is jealous of me? Because some people love you hurt. And when you begin to heal and get better, they can't handle that. Take inventory. Be mindful of the relationships you created. Are you giving more than what they're giving? Is it unbalanced? Is it unhealthy? How does it make you feel? Trust yourself. As you begin to heal, trust yourself, allow yourself to protect you and look out for you. As always, thank you guys for coming. There will be information below if you're interested in one-to-one coaching or any of the courses or workbooks that I have. Again, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I will talk to you guys during the next video. Bye-bye.